Hello everyone and welcome to Accounting 315. Now, I'm talking to both sections here, SB05, whose material I'll be looking at, but I also am talking to CCO2. Both of you have classes on Wednesday, Friday. CCO2 is from 9:30 till 11, and SB05 is 12:30 to 2. So pretty much, except for the time of your class, which only affects your midterms and final, everything's pretty much the same, the due dates and so on. So my name is Stephanie, and what I want to do first is go through Blackboard, then I want to go through the course outline, then I want to talk about working through the course. So looking at the course content on the Blackboard site, the first thing we have is a workaround for viewing problems with PDFs. So Blackboard's had this problem, you might have had it last year, for a few months with viewing PDFs. You only see the first page. If you get that, just go to this link. It's a little video and it shows you what setting to change on Blackboard and it will work. Now, the next thing is course materials. So you want to read these materials, watch these videos first. So hopefully that's what you're doing because you're watching this video. So if I go in here, you see the course outline for your section. Of course, CCO2, you'll have your own course outline with your exact information, and how to work through Accounting 315 online. So I'm going to talk about both of these specifically after we look at Blackboard. There's Wiley Plus information. So your online package that goes with your text is Wiley Plus. You might have used Connect last year. That's McGraw-Hill. This is Wiley. So in here, there's a PowerPoint on Wiley Plus textbook purchase costs, which I'll talk about in a second. There's a handout with your course code and instructions on registering. And again, on your site, CCO2 people, you'll have your own link. And a video on how to register for Wiley Plus if you get stuck. Now, office hours are going to start next week once you've had a chance to look over the materials and the notes and the videos. But email me in the meantime if you've got any questions. The office hours, there's 4 hours, is going to be Tuesday 11 till noon, Wednesday 12:30 to 1:30, and 3:30 to 4:30, Friday 10 to 11, or by appointment. The office hours are going to be held either on Zoom or WebEx. I haven't decided. I want to try WebEx first, but we'll see. So inside the folder, they're not there yet, there will be links to each of the office hour sessions. So they're recurring. So every Tuesday we'll have the same link. Tuesday at 11, you go click on the link and you're good, and so on. Now, the next thing, student discussion board, because you guys don't have class. So you know that time where you'd sit down maybe 5 minutes before class and go to the person sitting next to you, I'm trying this question and it's not working, can you help me? That kind of thing, or after class. I thought a student discussion board would help. So if you go in it, you'll see I've given you a little welcome message here. But if you want to ask a question, you create a thread, and you can subscribe to that thread if you want to be informed when people reply to it. So this is where you guys, it's all for you. I'm not really going to moderate it other than to check occasionally for, professionalism. But it's just an open forum for you guys to talk and get some answers to your questions. There's absolutely nothing wrong, you guys, with asking each other assignment questions for Connect, okay? Other than people putting solutions up, just talking about it, explaining it is great. Because if you do know what you're doing and you explain it to someone else, you've really helped reinforce that knowledge. So it's great. So that was the discussion board. Here's a link where you can send email to people in the class or to me. Now, here's where we get into all the materials. So you see we start with chapter 2, we skip 1 and 3, go all the way to 12. Then we have the exam information and links. So the exam information, as we get closer, I'll put things like the breakdown of the topics, any instructions for using Wiley Plus, because they're going to be on Wiley Plus. Any other information will go there. For the chapters, if you look inside, say chapter 2, what I do is I have notes, except for chapter 2. Chapter 2, I was going to do up notes, but really I'm just rewriting the text because it's all theory. So what I did was put the PowerPoint there for you, and then we'll do some sample questions. But generally I have notes which are kind of workbook type. You kind of fill in the blank. There's some theory, and then there's some problems, and we fill them in together. Now, normally we do it in class. You'll be doing it by yourself with the videos. So that's the chapter 2 notes. Then at the end of every chapter, I give suggested problems. Here's the solutions to them. Now in here, there aren't any up yet, will be the lecture video links for chapter 2. So you can access them. They're going to be on YouTube, but you can access them there. And then if I had any extra materials for chapter 2, like an extra question or something, it would also go in here. So everything's broken down by chapter. Hopefully that will work well for you. And the same goes for every chapter. Now, that is Blackboard for you. Make sure you go around, check things out, and see what's going on. So now what I want to look at is the course outline. So again, this is for section SBO5, section CCO2. You have the same kind of information. I'll highlight or let you know where it's not the same. So as usual, you can read all this stuff. Intermediate financial. So the class schedule is Wednesday, Friday. For SBO5, you're 12:30 to 2. CCO2 is going to be 9:30 to 11. I will not be teaching synchronously, which means during class time. Instead, at the beginning of the week, first couple days, I'll be recording and posting the lectures. So only your midterm exams will be scheduled during the actual class times. The final exams will be an actual schedule. Other than that. So it's important that you know when your class is scheduled for the midterm and final, and you make time for it, and make sure you have a laptop and some quiet access. You can work. They do have libraries at the computer. You can borrow laptops from the computer. They have laptops in the library is what I meant to say if you need to come to campus and do your exam. Again, I'm Stephanie Ibach. I'm a CPA, CGA. I've been a controller of a school district. I've done a lot of managerial consulting for not-for-profits and small and medium-sized businesses. And I also do some PEP work with the CPA. I do session leading occasionally. And I've taught for a number of years. Okay, contact information, my office. Of course, we'll never be meeting there unless COVID goes away. My phone number, it sends a message to my email, so I know if you've called with your message. Email, best way to get a hold of me is email. You can do it through the Blackboard link that we saw, or you can just use your McEwen email. Blackboard, of course, that's the address for it. Office hours, we've already talked about it. Now, the required text, we're looking at the 12th edition, which came out last year. So it's been out for a year. And I just want to go to the PowerPoint for Wiley Plus. Also has a page for textbook options. So we're going to go here now. So this was slide 12. And what it shows you is you can buy the Kiso text. It's not bound. It's in a binder, hole punched, but it's good quality with the Wiley Plus registration code. So that's 152.50. And it's got everything on Wiley Plus, including the ebook. You can also, if you don't want to bother with a written text, you can buy Wiley Plus full access for $93.50. So you don't get the printed text, but you get everything else on Wiley Plus. Now, there is an option for you to get limited access with basic Wiley Plus. So just to do the assignments in Wiley Plus, it doesn't cost you anything. And there's instructions on the PowerPoints on how to access that. Be aware that it doesn't give you anything else but the assignments. So no ebook or anything. Generally, I find that this full access registration code is usually the most popular. Okay, so let's go now back to the course outline. Hang on a second. Still figuring this out. So I hope all of you had a good summer. I couldn't believe it went so fast and we're finally here. Okay, so I'm back to the course outline. Oh, sorry about the mismatched fonts here. Okay, you have free access to the CPA handbook through the MacEwan Library. So that's our set of standards that govern accounting. Search for CPA CHB on the library main page to find it. You'll be using Wiley Plus throughout the course for assignments and projects. There's no projects in this course. Blackboard, you can read that. Now you can read the description. With Intermediate 1, we're basically looking at going into much more detail than you did in Intro on the asset side of the balance sheet. Intermediate 2, which is 316, is the liabilities and equity side, plus a bunch of other topics that are more advanced than Intro, but that don't fit in with asset, liabilities, and equity, like detailed earnings per share. Now, here's what you probably really wanted to be or to hear about is the breakdown of marks. Your online assignments on Wiley Plus are 20%. You've got 2 exams, 20% each. They are on Friday, October 9th and Friday, November 20th. Remember, they will be written during class time. So SBO5 will be writing from 12:30 to 2. CCO2 is 9:30 to 11. And your final is 40%, and it's the official exam schedule. Then you can read all of this. And all of this. Policies. Okay. Here we go. Online assignments on page 6. You can register for Wiley Plus here. You just go to this login page and enter your course ID. Notice CCO2 will have a different ID, so look on your own course outline. And there are further instructions on Blackboard using Wiley Plus. including a video in case you need that. 3 attempts for each question. Highest of the 3 attempts will be taken. You'll be given solutions after the 3rd attempt or when you get 100%. You get 0 if you don't submit it. And here's the breakdown of the due dates, and they're both the same for both classes. Now, I suggest you actually complete the assignments earlier, like don't wait for Chapter 2 till September 27th. As soon as you finish Chapter 2 material, do the assignment, then Chapter 4, 5, 6. These are each separate assignments, so you can do them one at a time, which is really nice. So that's Wiley Plus assignments. And the last page of your course outline is your schedule. What it basically does is every week tell you what you should be doing. So the first week, watch the intro videos. You're watching one or the one already, and your Chapter 2 videos. Then do the Chapter 2 problems, watch Chapter 4 videos next week, and so on. It has the due dates for Wiley Plus, plus it has the midterm. Now this is critical. Your midterms for both sections are on the same day, but the 12:30 to 2 block is only for SBO5. CCO2, you have to write from 9:30 to 11. So please make sure you're looking at your own course line, highlight the 9:30 to 11, and make sure you're ready to do that. We have a nice little reading weekend partway through before midterm 2, which is nice. And then you work through in your final exam. Now, the tentative final exam date is Friday, December 11th from 1 to 3 for SBO5. But for CCO2, which it'll say on your course outline, it's Monday, December 4th from 9 to 11. So exams, your final exams are 2 hours long. Your midterm exams are 1.5. Okay, and that's pretty much the course outline. The last thing I want to do is I made a little document because you're working online this year, and I just wanted to lead you through it. It's a document on how to work through Accounting 315 online. So, basically, before you watch any lecture videos, read through the textbook or the class notes, or for Chapter 2, the PowerPoints. And this document is the same for both sections. Don't go through the examples and try and write them down. That's what the videos are for. Just get through the theory portion so you have a good understanding of what we're doing. Once you've done that reading, you can do the course lecture videos. So either print the class notes or use a tablet with a stylus. Open the lecture video using the link to the YouTube video that we saw on Blackboard. Then, with those notes available, go through the lecture videos, which will go through the examples, and fill them in. It's really, really important that you don't just watch the video. Filling in the answers and thinking about them, pausing it if you're not understanding something, is critical to your learning in this course. This is quite a big jump up from 311. Mostly because it's been so long since you took your first accounting course and it went through it pretty fast. So you really need to pay attention and focus on this. And they've just found that if you handwrite notes rather than typing them or just looking at a video, you learn stuff much more efficiently, effectively, and your retention is better. Okay, and as I fill in the notes for the examples, I'll also talk about the theory you read just to remind you it exists. So as you go through the examples of the video, go back over parts that don't make sense. if you are finding something difficult to understand, so you've read the theory, you've tried the example, you don't understand why we use certain accounts. You go back to the text, you look, and you go, okay, they're not using these, or I don't see why they're doing it. Mark it, highlight it, do something, and then either ask your classmates in the discussion board about the topic or ask me. Okay? So this next little thing, paragraph, just a little reminder, it's critical that you don't just watch the video. You have to participate by filling in the notes and writing down the extra information as you go through the videos. You've got to stay engaged. I mean, all of us watch YouTube videos, right? And how many times do you find, let's say it's late at night and you're doing it because you're avoiding something else or going to sleep, and you doze off, right? You're not even paying attention. So make sure with this, stay engaged as you watch the videos. If you find your mind's wandering, after a while, just stop, stand up, stretch, do something like that. Now, the nice thing with it, because it's on YouTube, you can speed it up if I'm going too slowly. Some of you are very fast learners, so just speed me up. If you need a little more time, slow me down. And of course, you can always pause. And sometimes during the lectures, I'll say, okay, pause here, read through the question, think about what entries should go in. And you can give it a try, and then we'll go over it. Okay, it's a very difficult course, not because the concepts themselves are difficult, it's because a lot of people, they learn debits and credits. And you guys, if you've come into accounting and you're enjoying it, you're smart. If you made it to intermediate, you're great. So you took it a long time ago. And you might have crammed your way through it. So the long-term memory isn't there. So that's what makes this difficult. You're kind of relearning everything. So please participate during our little classes of videos. Okay, that's enough of me going on about that. So after you've actively watched the lecture videos, work on the suggested problems at the end of the notes. The solutions are provided, and you can either do them on paper or you can do them on Wiley Plus. I've got them in both places. Go over the parts you didn't get correct the first time. Don't just look at the solution and go, oh, yeah, I see what they did. Do that part actively again. Now, the Wiley Plus assignments, after you've completed at least 2 of the suggested problems. So don't just jump right to Wiley Plus. So once you've got practice on the suggested problems, move to the Wiley Plus assignment. Now, questions, office hours, and the discussion board. I've talked about office hours. Now, one thing about office hours, I know some profs are leaving them open to everybody and then recording them and stuff. I'm treating my office hours as actual real office hours. Everybody wouldn't sit in my office and one by one ask their question. Some people feel too nervous to ask in front of others. They're worried their questions would be silly or something, which, by the way, they're not. So what it is, either WebEx or Zoom, I haven't decided yet, they have a waiting room, and I will let people in the order they came and answer their questions and then let them go. So I'll also have a video camera and a stylus so I can write and we can work out numbers and stuff. So it should be just like being in my office hours. Sorry, that little pop-up thing got me off track. Anyway, yeah, so all of the video and stuff, would be nice if you could too and have a microphone, but if you don't have that capability, you guys, that's okay. Just use the chat function. I understand that. Now, sometimes there's 2 or 3 of you working on a question and you go in to see the prof during office hours in a group. Well, if you all want to do that, then just all go into the waiting room, click the link, get into the waiting room. And once I let one of you in, because it's your turn, just tell me, oh, can you also let these other 2 guys in? I'll let them in and we can all do it together. So that's absolutely no problem at all. I'm not going to record them because I want you to be able to ask questions in private and have me explain it to you. The discussion forum is more for places for people that, you've just got a quick question or you're just really having trouble and you can't wait till my office hours, that kind of thing. And it's just a nice forum for you to share information with your students. Okay, if my office hours don't work, you can ask questions by email, or if you really want to see me through Zoom or WebEx, we can schedule a different time. And we already talked about the discussion board. Okay, your exams. Your 2 midterms will be written during the scheduled class time. Remember, you have 2 different class times, you 2 groups. Your exams will be on Wiley Plus. Note this may be subject to change. Sometimes the whole program goes down, in which case we have to do something else. But it did work well. I was doing 316 or Intermediate 2 in the spring, and it did work well, so hopefully it'll continue to work well. It'll be problems and multiple choice questions. Unlike some of your other subjects like OB, multiple choice may be some theory, but it's mostly calculated questions. So don't try and memorize a bunch of theory just to do the multiple choice. I'll post a summary of the exam topics and the approximate breakdown % of the topics. I'll also give you a small pretend exam that you can try before the first midterm so you feel comfortable with what an exam looks like in Wiley Plus. The exams are open book, so you can use your notes, the textbook, any of your coursework during the exam. Midterms are 1.5 hours long, the finals 2. Now, in order to minimize breaches of academic integrity and to approximate the CPA exams, which are notorious for having you run out of time, these exams are going to be timed and you will have to work quickly to complete them. So, even though it's open book, you don't have time to search through your notes and your problems to figure out, oh, what do I have to do? So this is a question about this. Let's look in my notes. You really have to be prepared for the exam as if it were closed book. To be honest, the only reason we're doing open book exams is because you're not in the classroom where you can be proctored. So we don't want to give anyone a disadvantage if there are some people using their books. Everybody can use their books. And your disadvantage will be if you haven't prepared for the exam. So pretend it's not even open book. You'll have your materials just in case you have a panic moment like, oh, I forgot what step 4 of this is. Then you can look up step 4 and go, oh, okay, that's it. So if you're not prepared well for the exam, you can't finish it in time. And honestly, even the really best students won't have much time left at the end. Now, finally, during each of your exams, you have to take a picture of your face next to your screen with your student ID. So I can see that it's you with your ID, with your exam, because each of you on your exam have different numbers. That way I can make sure it's you and you're writing it. So have your phone handy during your exam. I'll give you the instructions again before the exam, so don't worry about that. So after that long video, I hope you took pauses in between. Hopefully what we went through, which was Blackboard and what the content is on it, the course outline, and how to work through the course. Hopefully you've got all the material you need and the information to start working through the course. So office hours will start next week on the 14th. And just let me know if you've got questions in the meantime. And take care, you guys, and see you in the next video.